Hello, everybody. In this video for ITV's 70th anniversary, I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to throw out some ideas of how I believe ITV should celebrate their 70th anniversary this year. It's 70 years of ITV. Brainstorm some ideas of how I believe ITV should celebrate the occasion because, well, I mean, the BBC done very well when it comes to celebrating anniversaries. I mean, look at what they've been doing. EastEnders recently, they gave viewers the opportunity to watch old episodes of EastEnders on iPlayer, obviously celebrating the occasion with new episodes and documentaries, etc. In terms of how I feel ITV should celebrate their 70th birthday. Well, this year, this is how So the first things on the list, some old shows from the archives, make it available on ITVX, everyone to view. So when I talk about archive shows, I'm talking to shows like, well, I'm hoping we're going to see shows like Michael Barrymore's My Kind of People. I remember seeing that when I was little. I think they should show that. Maybe even ITV's version of Gladiators. I think they should go ahead and show or make available the classic Gladiators on ITVX. I think they should do that, despite the fact that sure, Gladiators is on the BBC at this. I wouldn't mind seeing ITV making the old version available. If anybody wants to see how Gladiators used to be in the 90s, they'll have a chance to rewatch that as well as watching BBC version as well. So they get two options of being able to have the option of watching the old ad, so they get a chance to look at how Gladiators used to be in the 90s. I think that would be really. I think they should make available CD UK. I think CD UK needs to come to ITX for sure, because it would be great to see episodes of CD UK on there. SMTV Live for sure needs to be on there. I don't know why it's not on ITVX, but it needs to be, because honestly, and I'm going to be serious here for a minute, right? I would honestly do an SMTV night with my friends on Discord. I would rewatch SMTV Live with my friends on Discord if they brought it back on ITVX. I would actually stream it on Discord, just maybe watch it as friends. I wouldn't mind doing that. To see that, to have the ability to watch from the get go would be amazing. And then on top of that, you've got many other shows that could come back, like Harry Hill's TV Burp. I think Harry Hill's TV Burp has potential to do very, very well. So yeah, I think TV Burp has got potential to do some remarkable things this year. Yeah, I hope so. I hope that bring TV Burp onto ITVX. I hope so, because I think that deserves another showing. A showing on ITVX specifically. Hopefully they will. Other shows I would like to see, maybe they could bring back Fat Friends, just James Corden and Ruth Jones's early comedy together before they would then eventually do Gavin and Stacey. I think they should onto ITVX so people can see what Ruth Jones and James Corden used to do. Gavin and Stacey. I think that would be really cool to see that. A Touch of Frost. I think A Touch of Frost deserves to be. Well, mind you, they've already got some of those old dramas and stuff on ITVX anyway. I think another thing they need to do is to make many of their classic central programs like Rosie and Jim, Tots TV. I think they should take that out of premium, make it available for everyone to watch. That should be a priority for ITV's 70th birthday, is to many of the stuff that's on premium and viewable for everyone to watch. I think that should be given up there, especially as there's a lot of iconic stuff in that category of ITV. Doesn't get a chance for people to see, because the only way people are going to watch it is if they buy the subscription, and these days nobody hasn't got the money for it. So I think this is a good time to bring it out of premium so that people can enjoy people like myself can enjoy some of this content without having to worry about the subscription fee. ITVX Premium usually gets in the way of wanting to watch classic programs. Usually, honestly, I wouldn't mind that coming back. Honestly, to see that come out of premium, amazing if they do that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get. On top of this, what I would also like to see, BBC does this very, very well. I think it would be really cool to see some of the idents make a return. When I say old idents, I'm not just talking about generic ITV idents. I'm talking regional ITV ident. I think what they should do for their 70th birthday is they should open up each ITV1 channel, each part of the UK in their their home, back to their vintage home station. For instance, if you're watching on the Midlands, you'll be seeing Central's logo. If you're watching from the Northwest, you'll be seeing Granada. If you're watching from Wales, you'll be seeing most likely HTV. If you were watching from, for instance, London, you would essentially be seeing either Thames or LWT. I would imagine it's mostly going to be Thames you would most likely see, considering they were the more popular one over LWT. And then, of course, you have Cornwall side. They would see TSW, Television South. I think they should do that. I think they should bring back the regional idents and stuff. I think that would be really to see regional idents make a return in their full glory for the 70th birthday. I would actually capture the continuity for that, to see those old symbols get their first showing in years, or maybe even to have HD versions of those symbols would be amazing to watch. Like, just think about the Central logo being broadcast in HD for the first time. Honestly, that would blow my mind to see a HTV version. Central idents would be amazing to watch on ITV, on the ITV network. I would honestly switch my ITV region to the Midlands just to see, because I have memories of seeing the Central logo growing up, and the same with Grenada. I would honestly switch my ITV region just to see that, because that would be for me to see this. Obviously, my Skybox, I'm not able to do that, but if I did, I would definitely consider it. It would be so cool to see some of those old regional idents make a return for the 70th anniversary in a HD format. Be incredible if they could do that. Another thing I think they should also, which I think be really, in fact, this is something that Channel 4 did for their 25th anniversary. So let me just explain where I'm getting at here. So back in Channel 4's 25th anniversary, they did this whole special where you would have a mix of older, newer adverts of the same. What I think ITV should is, I think they should have a vintage where they would show adverts from, basically show a lot of vintage adverts for the first time in, and maybe do a similar thing to what Channel 4 did. And whenever they come to like brands like Cadbury's or Persil, or brands like Persil, Cadbury's, etc., you would show an old version of their ident, and then you would show a newer version of their ident, just like how Channel 4 did for their 25th anniversary. I honestly would love that. Vintage adverts being shown for the first time in years on an ITV network, and to be able to bring back those memories of seeing these idents for the first, when I saw them for the first time years ago, being able to relive some adverts from the past, be incredible during the ad breaks. I mean, can you imagine them? For instance, could you imagine them showing famous clown McDonald's for years ago, and then eventually transitioning to a newer McDonald's advert? I think that very, very cool. Like an old McDonald's advert transitioning into a new one. That would be like a perfect way to recognize 70 years worth advertising, the old to the new. It'd be such a nice touch to the ad breaks if they did that, and I really do hope they consider doing that for ITV during the 70th anniversary year. Is to have that privilege. Amazing to have, and you could even tie this in with Christmas, as so especially as we get to Christmas, you could have a similar situation there where you would have an older Christmas advert along with the newer Christmas advert of like brands like shops like Morrison's, Tesco's, Saint Coca-Cola, etc. have the ability to have an older advert and then show the newer one. I think that would be really cool to see that during the Christmas season, for them to use their old trailers from the past and then show the newer trailers, or maybe use older graph to advertise programs during Christmas and during the year. I think that would be really from ITV to do. I really hope so. I really do hope they consider doing that, because I would love that. I would love ITV to sort of those memories of versions that we haven't seen for a long time. For us to have that nostalgia during the 70th birthday of ITV on screen, and I would honestly would love definitely capture it and then watch it and relive that memory for years, for them to do that. Another thing I think ITV should also think about doing, and I hope they do consider this, especially on the weekends, they show vintage programs on the weekend. Yeah, I think they should put some classic ITV program on the schedules of maybe even ITV1, maybe even ITV2, maybe you'll save ITV4, for instance. I mean, ITV4 could be a good place to show it. Honestly, do believe I think they should consider. So yeah, I think that would be really cool. It'd be really cool to see some vintage ITV programs back on the schedule. Harry Hill's TV Bird, Michael Barrymore's My Kind of People. If they're allowed to show it, I think they should. And then you've also got the opportunity for them to maybe consider, yeah, I think they should consider showing a lot of, yeah, I think it would be really cool to see some of, some of these shows make a return to the schedule. Very, very happy to see these shows make a return during the schedules. Honestly, to see like Harry Hill's CD Bird, Michael Barrymore's My Kind of People. There's many other shows. I think and also I think they could get away maybe showing older. I guess you could say. I mean, to be fair, they already do like Coronation Street, Emmerdale already. I mean, who's to say that they wouldn't bring back some like old episodes of You've Been Framed? I don't see why they wouldn't consider doing it, because I mean, you have an opportunity here to show some famous episodes of popular episodes from programs from Peter Kay, or maybe even show some Parkinson ITV's past. Maybe even go the extra mile, reshow SMTV Live on the telly before the new SMTV Live happens, whenever that happens. I think that would be really cool to have have that nostalgia on the weekends, and maybe even on the weekdays, and maybe ITV4 could be like how BBC4 looks back at programs. Maybe that's ITV4 could do, is have a night dedicated 70 years of ITV and showing classic each week. I think that would be really give people like me reasons to want to check out ITV before in the past considered ITV4 as an option for us. But maybe for this anniversary, if they did something like showing CITV programs on there, I would certainly, the likes of Rosie and Jen, for instance, if they were to re-show that, or they were to re-show Zach, Wizardora, etc., Children's Ward, I'll definitely consider it. I hope so. I hope consider these options. Consider the options of showing some of these iconic content that they haven't, and maybe they'll re-show that. We get a chance to relive some of the past dramas and comedies and stuff that ITV have been known for. Be really cool to see some of that content make a return for its 70th birthday. I think that would be really. But yeah, so I think there's an opportunity there for ITV to show some past programs during the year, should they consider it. And I mean, BBC4 has been in the habit of doing that. And I think because, especially if BBC4 does the Top of the Pops night on a Friday, why wouldn't ITV4 Friday night, or maybe even a Saturday morning, or a Saturday night, for instance, dedicated to CD UK repeats? Can you imagine CD UK repeats on a Friday or a Saturday? Just like how Top of the Pops is getting repeated Fridays on BBC4. I would honestly love to see it. Watch ITV4 for those repeats. I'm not even kidding when I say that. Why not? Let's make it happen. That's what I think. I think ITV's many opportunities here for them to do something this anniversary. I just hope going to miss the moment. I really hope they consider making these moments happen, because I think it definitely give people reasons to want to check out their network. Check out some of the old stuff that they missed. But yeah, and then you've got and then they could re-show Mr. Bean, the live action Mr. Bean, is another piece of content that I think they should consider re-showing, because can you imagine the hype the live action Mr. Bean was to make a rebroadcast on ITV channels? The hype would be real to see that on ITV network again, and for them to do that make people want to come back to ITV channels just to see the Mr. Bean episodes get first time in years. So there you go. I thought I would throw out some ideas. And also another idea I kind of thought about also is the idea of, obviously they should do a ITV documentary looking at 70 years of a channel, which I think they're probably going to at some point, because they're going to have some sort of a documentary to celebrate 70 years for sure. Needs to be, I think there's a no-brainer that it needs to happen.